Hi everyone, welcome to Blue Collar Hockey Talk. My name is Wes Atkinson. I'm here with my co-host Scott Feeney. We got lots to talk about today because the Leafs are on a slide. It's so much easier to talk about a team that isn't doing well compared to when they are doing well. We have things to go over like the Leafs made a trade, more bad news about Buffalo, like hard to believe it's worse than what it was last week. We got thoughts from West Coast Tim. We have the two games from the Winnipeg Jets to go over. Scott's going to talk about the hockey cards and like why they're so popular again after years and years of no one really being into it. We got this day in hockey history, as well as we're going to go over the next game, which is Sunday, March 14th, between the Toronto St. Pats and the Ottawa Senators. So that being said, how are you doing today, Scott?
Buddy, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm doing better than the supporters are doing, trying to hold down the fort for Freddie Anderson. But yeah, no, I'm doing well, man. And I feel a little humbled as a Leaf fan right now, just because it's just one of those times during the season. We're playing the other team in our division that we assumed would be our stiffest competition. So of course they won some games, you know. But I'm doing great, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Doing great.
Well, that's good to hear, man. Let's get right into it. So on Friday, the Leafs made a trade, man. The defenseman Mikko Lehtinen is on his way to the Columbus Blue Jackets, and the Leafs are going to be getting goaltender Vihalainen, and I'm sorry if I butchered the name. I swear I got the pronunciation off of YouTube. What do you think happened, man? Mikko Lehtinen was pumped up to be this stud defenseman, and it just didn't work in Toronto.
It didn't. And I mean, it's just sometimes some players don't work in certain systems. They don't, the chemistry has to be there. You could be a great talent, but if it doesn't fit, if it doesn't mesh, then it doesn't mesh. And I think that you're going to hear a lot of people going, how the hell did we only get this or that? You want to know something? I personally think that it comes down to the fact that Lettinen had that clause in his contract, right? That he had to play a certain amount of games, or if he played fewer than X amount of games, he'd be able to walk back to the KHL.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing coming back to the Leafs, no compensation at all. And that time was coming up. So Dubas said, it's either that, with no intentions of having him make this roster at this point, we know, or get something. So we got something. And to be fair, goaltending depth, I don't know anything about this goalie that came in. I'll learn. I'll watch some of the Marlies games and see how he looks. I really don't think that it's a move about the goalie, though.
No, I think with Lettinen, it came down to, man, like, they signed him a year ago, like right when the pandemic was starting to go on, and at the time the Leafs defense was nowhere near as deep as it is right now, right? Like we didn't have TJ Brody this time last year. Justin Hall wasn't as good as he is. So Lettinen kind of got pushed down, and what else kind of happened is was a victim of no training camp and no preseason games. And I think that's kind of too bad for him.
So how do you fit into a system?
Yep.
Yeah, how do you learn the system to be able to mesh? How do you do that? And he never got that chance, which I'm not blaming anybody. It just wasn't the scenario to do it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So what do you think? Will this have an effect on the Leafs trying to get more European free agents over, or what?
I thank you for bringing that up. I think that's probably another large portion why Lettinen just got moved on. It may have been a conversation between Dubas, that agent, and Lettinen himself. Do you know what I mean? Saying what they had to keep everybody happy here, because right now the Leafs have a solid line, a good flowing highway back and forth from the KHL to the NHL. Like maybe one of the best relationships in the league.
Yep.
And I think Dubas has just got to make sure it stays that way. The way that he handled Mikheyev, and stayed with him through the Christmas break, that I feel like Dubas and the Leafs are doing it right. And I think that moving Lettinen on maybe gives him another shot before he says, all right, back to the KHL I go.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's really good. The Leafs have a good history too when it comes to bringing guys from the K over, right? Like Zaitsev came over as a free agent, and he did play well for the Leafs at least that first year, and then you know what, he signed that big ticket and he moved on, and good for him. And then also, Ozhiganov, he had his shot to really make it, and it just didn't work out for him. But like you said, Mikheyev, he's on the team. He's made it to the Leafs by his play and his success. So it does work out multiple times that guys come over from the K. But man, it goes to show that Lettinen was the defenseman of the year last year, and he couldn't crack the Leafs. Like, I don't know what that says about the K.
I'm with you on that. Like, it is a big gap between the two leagues. We'd be kidding ourselves otherwise. Otherwise, you'd hear a whole lot more about it. It's almost like talking about the Cubans in baseball, right? Like, oh my God, there's going to be all these I didn't see a lot more baseball players coming out of Cuba. But anyways, that was a way off in left field thought process. But yeah, with Lettinen going, and you were talking about the relationships of the KHL. I think that this only helps it. This only helps it. We're so deep on D though. Like, I mean, like you say, the KHL Defenseman of the Year couldn't crack the lineup. That is pretty fascinating to think of it like that.
Mm-hmm.
But like we've said, this is the deepest I've seen this team in a long, long time. And it's not just about what can you do on paper. It's how do you fit in to make it so that everything gels, right?
Yeah.
And I think that the Leafs are such a tough lineup to crack because that first pairing, I've never seen Morgan Riley and Brody. I haven't seen such a top pairing on the Leafs. Muzzin and Hall, great next pairing. You know, Bogosian and Dermott. That's our third pairing.
Yep.
So yeah, man. Too
Yeah.
bad that he didn't make the team. I really was excited when he came.
Oh, for sure, man. But like, you got to remember, Bogosian was a guy that we didn't have this time last year either. You know, so there were spots open, and he just didn't have the opportunity. And this year didn't kind of present the opportunity to take a spot from somebody. Well, let's move on to the goalie that we got from Columbus. So he was taken in the 6th round of the 2018 draft. He was actually named the Finnish League's best goalie in 2017, 2018, and 2018, 2019. And he won gold medals at the 2019 Men's World Hockey Championship and the 2016 World Juniors. So he has a bit of a pedigree behind him.
Yeah, he does. He does, doesn't he? And I mean, it's funny that the Finnish players, man, like talk about a country starting to produce some serious talent, turn it around. Like they're a hockey power, and just producing goaltenders. It's pretty amazing. So it'd be pretty sweet to see this guy to pan out a little bit because next year, I can't say it enough, and it's not a hate on Freddie Anderson. I love Freddie Anderson. I like Freddie Anderson. I don't want to see him out of the net. I want to see him do better.
Mm-hmm.
But with that said, he won't be here next year, no matter how much better he does. So let's see what we've got in goaltending because there's moves to make. You talked about the goalie carousel, and you're bang on about that. But here's another guy coming into the system. Let's see where he fits in. Does he fit ahead of Wall? Does he go behind Joseph Wall? You know,
Yeah, and you know what? We need
is Wall even
goaltending
in the
depth.
cards?
Yeah, man. That's a thing too. And you know, I'm not tracking the Marlies as much as I do regularly, but Wall is putting up the numbers. You know, I think he's not a stud as far as I understand. Like, he's not going to come in and steal the net away from like a number one goalie. But man, goaltending depth is so important. Like, we went years without having a good backup goalie, and you know, it just comes back to bite you if you don't have the depth. But let's move on from the goaltending depth. Man, Buffalo. Captain Jack Eichel is going to be out for the foreseeable future, according to Ralph Cougar. Man, he was checked into the boards by Casey Cizikas at the end of a 5-2 loss to the Islanders. It's another injury for Eichel. Man, that's his 3rd of the year. He's missed so much time, man. Like, he's the best player on the Sabres. Oh, what do you think?
I think you got to be careful that you don't have a guy losing his complete motivation on things. I think it's awful. Like it sucks for Buffalo. 2 weeks ago, we were talking about it. Hell, we did it 2 episodes ago. And we did a whole review on Buffalo, thinking how, like, just because of where they were, and it's gotten worse, man. And I mean, I thought that things couldn't get worse when the Leafs were in their depths, you know. But then all of a sudden, we go and we fire a coach, and bring on Randy Horchak, and things did get worse. Buffalo, I hate to tell you, they can get worse because all these pieces in place, not doing nothing. 6 wins on the year, and now your captain's out for the foreseeable future.
Like, we're going to talk about how the Leafs
feel for them.
Yeah, we're going to talk about how the Leafs are in a bit of a tailspin, but Buffalo is 0-9-1 in their last 10 games. Like, that's hard to do. Like, it's usually you'll fluke out a win somewhere in there.
And this isn't like it's a team that's trying to lose. This is a team that's supposed to have turned the corner a few times by now, like 2 or 3 times, and you're 0-9-1. Holy smokes, man! Like, it hurts. I feel really bad for them. I hope that they turn it around, just because I don't like watching franchises flounder. I don't even really enjoy watching the Canadians flounder. Okay, I kind of do, but it's fun when the Leafs and them are good. But whatever, kind of. But like Eichel, how much do you think he wants to come back? Like, because guys push and push and push, to train and to try to get back on the ice. How hard's he going to? Honestly, I mean that. Like, what? He's already sounding like a guy that's half out the door, or at least pissed off that he's still in the door.
Mm-hmm.
And now he has to work really hard to come back. To come back to what?
Yep. And I think that's it too, because like, would Buffalo even want him to come back? Because if you're really considering trading him in the offseason, why bring him back to possibly get injured again? Like he has the skill. He's one of the best players in the league. Like the year he was drafted, he was number 2 to Connor McDavid. And apparently, if Matthews was in that draft, because he only missed that draft by a few days, like thankfully. But if he was in that, Matthews would have been number 3. So that's how good Eichel was, and apparently people think he is. So I think we're not going to see him again this year. In all fairness, like I think, what's the point of him coming back? Like it doesn't matter.
Well, that's where I'm going with this. Like I think that if it's a foreseeable future, like you're not going to rush him back because you need, if it's in the cards, to move him. And man, do I ever hate thinking that they're going to do that, because to rebuild, you need guys like that. But unfortunately, you need guys like that that haven't tapped out. And a change of scenery happens at times. And what the hell has Buffalo shown Jack Eichel to think that he needs to keep waiting and stay motivated? So anyways, I can see a move there. And you're right. You got to keep that guy, that kind of asset healthy so that you can get 2 first-round picks and your number 2 defenseman off of the club. You know,
Yeah.
You can't hand over broken chips.
Yeah. I mean, well, how about we talk?
I don't know. Buffalo, they just make my head shake a bunch.
It just seems to be like a series of unfortunate events, man. It's one thing after another, and like I was pretty close to calling up Dave again and being like, "Come on, man, we gotta talk about this again." But I kind of don't want to put him through another tough few minutes, man, because I don't want to kick him when he's down. That's all. Let's move on to some good news about this past week. It seems like so long ago, but on Thursday, March 11th, the Leafs beat the Jets 4-3 in overtime. That was a great game, man. Like we were recording our last show during the game, but I went back and watched it, and it was awesome. It was so entertaining. I don't know. What did you think of it?
Well, I'm looking at the game notes here that you put together, and you wrote here, probably the best game Nylander has ever played. And you want to know something? When I first looked at that, I thought, oh, come on. But you want to know something? You're right. Like, he was on fire.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look online, you see you see all these posts from people, and I'm only bringing it up because it seems to be a large chatter of people. I wonder how many people felt foolish when they watch a player like Nylander on a night like that come out and dominate the ice. Like you say, he could have had 4 or 5 goals. Like, he was all over the place, and he was hard on that puck. I loved seeing us compete, but my God, it went crickets online. But I mean, you wait until he takes one bad play, and then all of a sudden it's like this never happened. Like the recency bias is unbelievable.
I think the reality is, in Toronto, man, there always has to be a whipping boy, and Nylander is it. And it's just, for one reason or another, some people think that he is the guy that is the scapegoat, and if he wasn't on the team, they'd be better. But man, he is probably the best value contract on the Leafs right now.
Oh, 100%. I'm with you on that. I want to talk a little bit about the Matthews goal too, because like when he went in and scored in overtime there, like you say, that's a goal scorer's goal. I mean, my favorite goal going has got to be short side, top cheese. But holy smokes, you pulled it off with your backhand. I've never seen him pull that move off. Like, and it was just so slick and so fast, man. Like I don't know. That was beautiful. And to see him, like, his celebration coming through, sliding along, I'm with you. That could be one of the best goals of the season. And it's one of my favorite goals I've ever seen him score.
Oh, it was awesome, man. And that whole, like, leading up to it, man, like, Riley gets the stick slashed, and it was such a yard sale in the defensive zone with Matthews and Marner. And like the puck goes out, and they just go down, and they scored that goal. It was awesome, and I'm so glad I was able to actually watch that part of the game live. But man, how quickly the joy just...
Well, yes. Before we get there, I want to just say one real quick thing. I did my trick. So I hear a lot of chatter of like, who do you want to listen to the game? Who should be calling the games? Like, is it a homer? Is it, should we have Bowen? Should you have Jim Hewson? Should you have Cuthbert? Like, you've got all these. Did I get his name right there? I just butchered that. But if I didn't, I don't care. I'm going to keep going. I'll tell you, I turned down the TV feed and I put on Joe Bowen on the radio. And then I had to pause my TV feed by about 30 seconds. And then I pushed play so that it was perfect timing for Joe Bowen to be calling my game. And I do that. And I tell you, when I was watching that overtime and Morgan Riley had his stick slashed, you want to hear a guy go nuts? He's just like, what? What are you? Where's the penalty? How is that not a penalty? Oh, Matthew scores! It was an awesome call because he was just all over the map. He was so mad, you know? And then, but what a heads up play. Like, how ballsy was it for Morgan Riley to go to the bench and go get a stick and let that play become a 3-on-2? Because I saw an example that B.C.H.T put on the air yesterday, and they were showing an example of when there was a 4-on-4, some other teams, and the guy broke his stick, but then didn't leave the ice. He stayed on the ice and never went and got a stick. And I just thought it was a ballsy thing for Riley to do, and boy did it work out because he was just coming back. But anyways, you're right. Let's move on to the next game because how quick joys can completely turn. You'd never know that I'm excited to be a fan right now.
Oh yeah, man! Like it was heartbreaking because
I guess I should probably go into that. I'm sorry.
Sure, go ahead, man.
You go ahead. I keep cutting you off. I think it's our internet sucks today.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, I'm gonna keep going, even though I just said it to you. I'm gonna do it though. Saturday, March 13th, Winnipeg at Toronto, 5-2 loss. And we'll get a better flow here. Our internet sucks. I live in Bancroft, and the Toronto internet sucks today, too. But anyways, the Jets played their best game of the series. They had a plan to play better defensive hockey, and they did, only allowing the Leafs 22 shots in net and took 3 penalties. I could read all this like all the way through, man. All it really comes down to is we lost 5-2. The 5 more goals go against Freddie, and our PK let in another goal, man.
Yeah, that penalty kill it's just killing me, man, because it's just that one thing this year that the Leafs can't get right, and it's so annoying because as soon as Riley took that penalty, like, you just knew that the Jets were going to score. Like, I just had that feeling that this isn't going to go well.
No, and I'm with you on that. It just had that feeling. You're right. But how frustrating was it to see that call? I mean, I'm not going to blame the loss on a referee. I'm not. You let 5 goals in. Doesn't matter what else we talk about. And I know that that's the third goal and it's the most important and changed the tone of the game. Actually, you can make that argument, but I'm just not going to bitch and whine. I am going to say, though, that was a garbage call. And then the one that followed it up on, who got the one after that? But it was just like bumping into each other is Hyman.
Yeah.
And Hyman goes into the box. And what garbage was that? And that's with 4 minutes to go. You know, we're trying to make a comeback, and then I don't blame Keith for losing his lid. I'd love to know what he said to the ref.
Oh my God,
absolutely. He lost it, and I appreciate it when a coach can lose their lid on behalf of their players, as long as it's not going to cost you the game. Now, are you going to sit here and say, but we could have come back? They were down by 2 goals when he did that, so it finalized it. It shut the door, gave them their 5th goal. Freddie Anderson maybe didn't like it too much because his numbers already sucked on the night. But really, I like seeing the passion come out of the coach. I like to see him get fired up that much because it didn't hurt us. It just showed our boys that he's there and he's there for them.
Yeah, like, man, that penalty call against Hyman was so ticky-tack. Like, even the one against Riley, I didn't like. He was standing there and Ehlers skated into him. Like, if this was basketball, it would have been a charge. Like, you know, Ehlers skated right into Riley while he was looking up to get the puck or track the puck. Like, it was not the best call in a game that's tied and halfway through the 3rd period. Like, clearly the refs affected the outcome of that game. But that being said, man, that penalty kill, every other team in the division has found something on the Leafs where there's something that they can get through, see through, work around. I don't know what it is, but I'm at that point now. This isn't just bad luck or whatever, but there is some scouting going on where every team seems to feast on the power play against the Leafs.
Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to kind of roll this together. I'm going to give us West Coast Tim's thoughts here because he kind of touches on this, and then we can keep going. So West Coast Tim says, so with the break coming, where do you guys feel we sit? Overall, how would you rate the goalies, defensemen, forwards, and coaches? If you could change one thing right now, what would it be? Because, man, I can't disagree with you more. Like, if you're looking on the trade market right now, there has to be the fact that you need to shore up your penalty kill. You need to address that. Do you know that last night that's our first shorthanded goal?
Yep. Which is just crazy that took that long.
I mean, it's Mikheyev that's usually going up there, and we've all said finishing it, but he's had 10 shots himself.
Hmm. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
quite the pass too, man. Like that clearly Keefe has given them the green light of like when you have the chance to score on the penalty kill, go do it. And you know what, man, I'm all for it because the Leafs are such a good offensive team. Why not? And when you know that your penalty kill is going to allow a goal or two, you need to steal them back on the penalty kill.
100%. Yeah, no, I agree. And how awesome of a goal. Let's just talk a little niceness, anyways. How awesome of a shot was it from Muzzin? He looked like a goal scorer, man.
Oh
Like the
man, it was
leg
awesome.
up, he's cocking it. Like he looked like a goal scorer. I loved it. I loved it. That was so cool. I'm a big Muzzin fan, big Muzzin fan, and it's not because of the goals he scores. It's just fun when he does.
Yeah. But when it comes to like the defense and the forwards and the coaching, I don't have an issue with any of them. Like even the goalies, it is so easy to just like whip on them right now. Like we're in a slide. If you asked us last week about this, if you switch these past 2 weeks, we'd have nothing to complain about, man. We'd be like living on a high. The Leafs came off of a 3-game sweep. Everything's golden in Leafland, but it's just bad timing and it's a bad streak right now. And like the reality is the Leafs should have won 2 of 3 of these games.
Yeah, no, for sure they should have. I'm with you on that. We're going to see a lot more games between these guys. We got what, 7 more?
Yeah, I think 6 actually. Yeah, 6. So,
So I mean, there's a ton of points that are up on the board,
mhm.
and it's going to be a tough battle. But we always knew, like I really do, and I truly believe this. We just saw a preview of the North Division Final,
I
round
would
two.
take it, man.
Me too. Especially like because you watched that second game, the one that we won 4-3. I heard somebody put it this way: if you were ever to sit somebody down and show them a hockey game for the first time in their life, that was the game.
Yeah, yeah, it was a great game. Like the first, well, it was obviously it's easy for us to say the first 2 games of the series were the better games. Man, my relatives in Manitoba were just chirping me and giving me the gears yesterday about how good they thought last night's game was. So it's in the eye of the beholder. But you're right, man. That 4-3 overtime game, it had everything: lead changes, good scoring, good defense. It was an awesome game to watch.
I believe it. I believe it. So, if you don't mind, there, Wes, I'd love to chat about something a little bit different, still hockey related. But do you mind if I talk a little bit about hockey cards?
Man, it is all you. I have tons of questions about this. I was into hockey cards when I was a kid in the 80s and 90s, and I kind of fell off that bandwagon and stopped paying attention. And they've come back just in pop culture, and they're everywhere right now.
It is. It's unbelievable. Like I've held on to cards since I was a kid, and I collected some, um, and and I always knew that they were worth something, and they did have a value. But like I'm talking about, like cards blew up here, and it's like a housing market. This is the next Bitcoin. This is what's happening right now. And I'm okay, maybe a little exaggerated, but not really. If you talk in percentages, like think about this: hockey cards from 1990 and back, so going back through the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, those all have a high value to their cards. They're good. But then the 90s and the 2000s, all of a sudden, companies all just started jumping on board. You had Fleer, you had Donruss, you had ProSet, you had Score. Where through the 80s and the 70s, it was just Topps and O-Pee-Chee, just the two of them. But then the 90s, it exploded, right? And they started to mass produce the cards and different sets all over the map, which still kind of exists now, but they've tweaked the formula. They lost all value. Hockey cards, if like 90s and early 2000 cards, even now, they're the least favorable of all, right? But then I'd say Sidney Crosby ish, like getting into that era. I think it was 05, 04, 05 was his rookie card. And you've got it was really neat what they did. They came out with an insert so that it was like only 200 cards made, and that was the big rookie card. Okay, so there was a cheaper rookie in the set, and that's not what people go for. That's not the collector's item. The Crosby card that I'm talking about has sold for over $200,000 online.
Wow.
200 grand. The thing's only 15 years old, so we're not talking because it's old. It's because they figured out how to make things worth something. So then they started to do that. It's all inserts, which made it so that more people are buying cards. But what that did, and I think a little bit unintentionally, is it completely re-invoked and re-fired up the old hockey cards. So my hockey cards have gone through the roof. And folks, if you've got hockey cards, go check them out. Get them out of the cold, wet basement, and hopefully you got them protected. Because, for example, this isn't hockey. I'm just going to show you this for a little example, and then I'll show you my hockey cards. Here we've got a Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card. Okay. This is when it all started to go down. All right. So just for example, I'm only going to tell you this because of how it exploded. Ken Griffey is one of the better players that we've seen come through the game. This card's mint. Okay. Now, it was worth $40 5 years ago. We're talking a great ball player, and it's his rookie card.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the one. And now today I can sell it for 500. How the hell did it go up that much money? He didn't do anything. It didn't produce any more or less. It just exploded. So all cards have done this, man. And I mean, it's just that when you've got a card, like let's say, for example, this was one of my favorite things. I went to a yard sale, and I showed up with this rookie card, John Van Beesbroek.
Okay.
I was looking at this rookie card, Patrick Waugh.
Patrick Waugh. Okay.
It's mint. Check the corners on this thing. It's mint. They're perfect. So anyway, at the time, it was early 90s, mid 90s. I said, what do you want for your Waugh rookie card? He says, I want your John Van Beesbroek rookie card. I said, pardon me. He said, I want your John Van Beesbroek rookie card. This isn't about today, buddy. It's about down the road. It's an investment. It's for the card, what it's going to be worth. And Van Beesbroek's going to be worth more than Waugh. So I'd like to make that trade. Is it a deal or no deal? And I just looked at him. I said, you're ripping yourself off. He said, deal or no deal? I said, deal. So I got that rookie card. But as you notice, I've got this one too, because I went to the flea market that weekend and I bought this for $5. So I don't really know what the guy was doing. I'm pretty cool with it because this card here, I see how it's not graded.
Mm-hmm.
I have to send them away to get graded. So folks, that's something I want to learn a little bit more about. And what I can tell is it's apparently safe, but I don't want to tell you it is. If anybody has any experience with getting cards graded, and I'm talking from the PSA or the BGA, the Beckett Grading Company, or the Pro Sports Card Company, you have to send them in the mail. So can you imagine me taking that Patrick Waugh rookie card, which I'd like you to go look on Gem Mint 10 out of 10 Patrick Waugh rookie card, see what they're going for. I mean, not as much as this guy.
Oh, the great one.
The great one. Now, this card, again, not graded. It's not mint. It's damn good shape, though. Damn good shape. Now, some of the things on these cards, you'll see on the back here. I got it upside down for you. But do you see that there's like little blue runs? I don't know if you can make it out, but there should be a blue run that goes through the card right underneath his feet, sorry.
Okay. And what does that mean?
So there was 3 separate runs of cards that were put out with Gretzky's rookie card. And this was the first run on a bad belt. And you'll see on the top of the card, see how it's got a little bit of a rough top?
Sure.
It's because back in the day, they used to cut them, or they used to have them on perforated edges and they'd get ripped. And it was only the sides of the cards that got cut with the knives. So don't get too caught up if you don't have a perfect edge on your card. It might just be how those cards are actually made. Get your cards graded, though. Don't sell these cards without them being graded because you're pissing away the value. Gone, 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 gone. This card right now, I could sell to anybody and their brother for easy $1,000. No grade. I put a grade on this. I'm anticipating about 8 out of 10. You're talking $50,000 card. Like, it's silly, silly stuff. Silly stuff. Go through your hockey cards, guys, because I mean, like, there's that. I've got Lemieux's rookie card. You know, there's some good goal scorers like Mike Gartner's rookie card. Like, it's just random stuff.
So
man.
you have the rookie cards of all these guys that were playing, you know, back in the 80s and 90s. But what about right now? How do you find out, like, the guys that are in the league right now? Like, you talked about Crosby, but there was a long gap between Crosby and now. And the other question I have is it only rookie cards that are worth anything? Like, why wouldn't a card from, say, Crosby's first Stanley Cup year, would that be worth something compared to another card, or what?
There are certain types of cards that they call them inserts, okay? And not so much being a second or third year. They'll put in inserts, so again, they're rare, right? So they've only printed off, and you'll get a card, and on the back, you'll see it says 1 of 99.
Okay.
You know, so there's not many of those cards. You could think in your head that should be worth more than the rookie card way back in the day that got printed off by the thousands. But they don't hold the value. It's just strange. It's almost like as if it's a knockoff. Like yeah, they're worth something, but they don't get near the same value. I mean, you can get some inserts that are worth a few $100, but you'll never get just some random inserts that are going to climb to the value of these rookie cards. Like the ceiling is through the roof, book value, and that's the big thing, folks. This is something actually I should have let off with. Don't let anybody say it's only listed at this. Book value is not. The book value is actually regarded as raw value, not graded cards. So um, don't worry about what the book value says. It's a guideline. It's what it's worth on the open market. What is it worth in the collector's eye? Because I'll tell you, the Gretzky card in Beckett, last time that I had checked, it was only worth $900. But there was a mint 10 out of 10 that sold 4 months ago for $1.29 million.
Mm-hmm.
So screw the book value. That's all I'm saying.
So every year when the new set of new set of hockey cards comes out, you're saying that the rookie cards are the ones worth collecting. The rest of them really aren't worth collecting.
Yes, and not just that. You'll see that Upper Deck. They're really now currently they're the main rookie cards you're looking for. It's coming out of the Upper Deck cases. Okay,
Sure.
and you'll see that they come out in 2 sets. You'll see it's called Upper Deck Set 1 and Upper Deck Set 2. Okay, now Upper Deck Set 2 is the second run in the season. Upper Deck Set 1 is the first run in the season. And the reason why they do that is that there are certain players that you know are going to be in the league. And a rookie, a lot of times, you have to be highly touted. If you're getting put out in Set 1, that means that Upper Deck is throwing away the rule or signing off on the rule. And they did it with Patrick Lafreniere this year. They typically do not do
Alexis
this.
Lafreniere.
I don't ever get his name right. I don't care. The guy's not doing well anyway. I'm just kidding. Sorry. Did I call him Patrick again?
You did. Yeah.
That's a block. I'm like Don Cherry. So, anyways, Alexis Lafreniere. I thought that would be the big card this year, and I still do, but he's not showing it. But Upper Deck thought so too, because he hadn't played a game, and in order to get put in the first run of cards for your rookie card, you have to be at least 10 games into the year. You have to have played. So a lot of times hockey cards get put out 2 weeks into a hockey season for that reason. And then they can hold back any cards that players didn't play. And then in the second run, they've got new players that have gotten called up and whatnot. But anyways.
So it is pretty much a gamble, and it's pretty much just the rookie cards, right? Like, the rookie out of Minnesota who's leading the rookie scoring race right now, Kaprizov, like he's probably going to win Rookie of the Year. So would his card this year be more valuable than, say, Lafreniere's because he's come out of the chute just on fire?
As funny as this sounds, I doubt it. And I say that because of the lead up to it. Like, people have been building up and living and playing in New York. They've been building up Lafreniere. Now his value can go down and the other guy can go up, but there's still big time difference. There's still a big time difference. What was his name out of Minnesota? Kiprinov? Oh boy, I don't know why I expected to get that right when I'm calling Lafreniere Patrick.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Kaprizov,
they may pass each other. They may pass each other, but like it's a lot of the times the hockey card values and the way that they're coming out follow the scouts, and the scouts get it right a lot. Like when they're talking about generational talent, but it's been a few years since we've seen a massive rookie card. Connor McDavid's the last one that's the big rookie card. Now, with that said, I've seen some value going on Austin Matthews. I've seen some value going on those guys, but really, if you went out and just spent a little bit of money on trying to get the top 10 players rookie cards in a season, I think it would pay off tenfold within 5 years of you getting that card.
So what are like I said, so what are the other cards? What are you doing? Say you get this year's collection of the NHL cards from Upper Deck, and what do you do with like Connor McDavid's card and Leon Draisaitl's card? Like, they're great players, but are they just like worth like 5 cents, 10 cents on, they're not worth anything because it's just a regular, middle of his career card?
Yeah, no, those are cards that just get lost in the shuffle. They become literally what they're meant to be, and that's a collector's card for somebody's wall, for somebody with a puck. You know what I mean? Like, it's to put it together with your whole entire set. You might collect sets, but yeah, like anything other than a rookie card, you're only getting for your own personal interest.
Wow. So let's just say there's 700 players in the NHL. You to make your collection worth anything, you really just want like the 70 rookies. Like you don't care about the rest of them at all.
Those other cards are only there so they can sell packs of cards while you're trying to get the rookie card.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and would it be
100%.
so? Would it be worth something like so Connor McDavid's rookie card with the rest of the Oilers team, like at a set? Would that be worth more, or is it just because of Connor McDavid's rookie card that's worth something?
It's just Connor McDavid's rookie card. Like if
That's
you
see,
sold
that's amazing to
yeah,
me, man. Like it is just because it's such a perfect scam because they're selling you literally like 90% stuff that is not going to be worth anything, just
you're
for the
100%
chance of
correct, and it's
10%.
just filler.
Yeah, yeah, which is
It's no different than a musician putting out a 12-song album and only having a one-hit wonder.
I guess so. That's a good way of putting it, man. Well, like I find this stuff kind of interesting. I don't know if I'm gonna get into collecting hockey cards. Like I just don't have the patience for it. I guess. Like I have my own thing. Like I collect jerseys. Clearly, like I have the green Maple Leaf jersey behind me because the St. Pats are coming out the next couple of games. But I don't know, man. I just can't get into the card collection. Like I literally don't have the space, and maybe I just don't have the time. But it seems pretty cool, man. And if like Scott said, if you have any cool rookie cards, let us know and get them graded, get them checked out, and see if they're worth anything. Because man, if you can get one that's worth a couple of grand, that's a good amount of money.
Big time, man. I always wanted to put this is the last thing I'll say. I always wanted to put before they went through the roof, and now I'm gonna get them graded. I mean, I could pay for my kids' schooling. I'd be stupid not to do this. But anyways, I wanted to get it where I had Waz rookie card and his jersey,
Mm-hmm.
Lemieux's rookie card and his jersey, Gretzky's rookie card and his jersey. And I wanted it to be in a three-piece container, like a three-piece display unit showing all three of their jerseys with their rookie cards lit up underneath because it would look wicked with their numbers in succession, 33, 66, 99. That'd be the sickest collection piece.
You're missing one there, man. You should get a 34. That's a Maple Leafs one with his rookie card, and it would be the best looking rookie card because the picture is the best quality too.
The only way that I would do that, I'm all about being symmetrical. I'd have to put 34 Austin Matthews and 68 Jaromir Jagr. How about that? Did it. 34 and 34. That was on the fly.
That's nice work, man. Well, how about we talk about the next upcoming game with the Maple Leafs? Or, well, the Toronto St. Pats are playing Sunday, March 14th. I think this is a must-win in the most nonsensical way must-win means because they have a big break coming up. They don't play again until next Saturday. So if they win this game, you can go into the break saying, hey, we won the past 2 out of 3 games, but if they lose this game, they will have only won 1 out of 6. That's a big, big difference.
Big time, man. And I mean, I want to see a big bounce back game from Freddie. Okay, I'm not being a Freddie hater. I'm being a Freddie supporter. Mm-hmm. I want to see a big bounce back game from Frederik Andersen because since he's come back from his injury, if I'm not mistaken, he's 1-5. Am I right? Or 1-4. So it's just let's get a good solid game in there, man. Let's go play against the Ottawa Senators and let's go take home 2 points.
Mm-hmm. I do think I would be surprised if we saw Freddie play because it is back-to-back. So he might be resting until Saturday when they play the Calgary Flames. So we'll see. But
you're right.
Another thing we should get into before we get going is this day in hockey history. And I have a feeling this guy's rookie card would be worth something. Gordie Howe in 1962 joined Maurice Richard in the NHL 500 goal club when he scored for the Red Wings in the 3-2 loss to the Rangers at Madison Square Garden. Like Gordie Howe got a standing ovation, even though he was the opposing player, because like man, he was Mr. Hockey, like
yeah.
I think he is a guy that the more time passes, people aren't going to appreciate what he did.
No, I agree with you because I mean we're right at those crossroads. Like if we're really to be honest, we're at that era right now. We're talking half a century. Like it's hard to really. I don't want people to start going like, yeah, buddy.
I think you're right when it comes to the crossroads because like we're too young to ever seen him play. Like the last time he played in a pro game was in 1980. He played into his 50s, which is just crazy to think that, right? But he was Mr. Hockey, and he was the guy that Wayne Gretzky looked up to.
He was that massive being, and I mean to play that late into your life is nuts. Jaromir Jagr right now, by the way, speaking of him, is 49 years old, still playing in the top Czech Republic league, and has 19 points through 28 games. Just saying, I think that's neat too.
Yeah, that is pretty neat, and like we got to see him play in his prime. But like Gordie Howe, to me, I got to meet him once when I went to Detroit for a game, and he was the nicest man. He would shake everyone's hand, look you in the eye. Like I was wearing a Flames jersey in Detroit, watching the Flames play, and he treated everyone with respect. I think he was a very good role model because he would always take the time to send out, autographs. And the reality is he gave out so many autographs. They're easy to get, so it isn't worth a lot of money, but it is such a cool piece to have as a hockey fan that you have Gordie Howe's signature. And
For sure, it is.
he would always tell his kids and other hockey players, like, if it wasn't for the fans, we wouldn't have careers. So always show the fans the respect that they're due, because like, man, we're the ones that we decide to put our money into supporting hockey. If the fans all of a sudden didn't, what would hockey be? What would any sport be?
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. You had said that his rookie card might be worth something. I had to look it up. So on my research here, so it says the Gordie Howe rookie card from 1951 is smaller than most cards and is incredibly difficult to find, and to find it in half decent condition. In half decent condition, it's worth around $15,000.
Wow.
So what I'm hearing there, Wes, and I'll do a little bit more research. There's only been 2 Wayne Gretzky rookie cards ever graded as a perfect 10 out of 10 from BGS from BGS grading. Gordie Howe, I would put money on it. I would put this as a bet. I bet you there's never been a perfect condition Gordie Howe graded. Which what I'm saying is that if anybody has, your grandma's or grandpa's or your hockey card collection and it might have something like this in it, it could be literally priceless.
Who knows, man? But I think, like we were saying about Gordie Howe, he's kind of getting lost in the shuffle of, being so far back and so far removed, where you just said like the book value is one thing, the actual value is another. So if there isn't a buyer, like, you're going to need to find a real collector for a Gordie Howe rookie card versus, say, like a Sidney Crosby one or a Connor McDavid one. Because of that, like, you need to appreciate the history of the game more than just watching the game right now.
Guys lost in the shuffle way back in the day. Honus Wagner, baseball card. Used to come in the packs of gum, right? You'd get those hockey cards in the packs of gum. One of those baseball cards now, if you asked people Honus Wagner, there's a lot of people maybe don't know the name, unless you're into baseball, but it's still sold for over $1.4 million. This card came out of a pack of bubble gum. Can you imagine knowing that? I have a friend, no word of a lie, that still has some of those bubble gum wraps, and they're not opened, and it's just in a safety deposit box. And one day he'll sell that or open it. Probably won't, because it's like a little lottery ticket in there.
Yeah, damned if you do, damned if you don't. But I think that pretty much wraps up everything we wanted to say today, unless you got any little tidbits you want to mention before we get going.
No, I'm sorry I didn't show more appreciation for Gordie Howe, but you were right about what you all said there. I hope he doesn't get lost in the shuffle. There's a reason why Wayne Gretzky wore 2 number 9s on his back.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, I think that wraps it up for us today. If you like what you see and what you hear, like, subscribe, and follow us on Twitter at BlueCollarHT. And like we always say, go St. Pat's, go.
Heyo.